Silver is trading at almost $80 an ounce. Should you sell it? Should you buy it? Should you sit on it? Man, like, that's the question I ask myself all the time. I want to share with you real quick a little bit of silver that you might find out there, whether it be a 1 ounce bar, a 10 ounce bar, an American Silver Eagle, or even a 100 ounce bar. I want to show you a little bit of this, and then I'm going to get into my thoughts. Stick around. You won't want to miss this. These are some random silver rounds. They have all kinds of, happy birthday, anniversary type stuff. $21.95 price tags. I bought a lot of those. Those are not for like mine. My personal collection is definitely safe. I'm not selling that. But those were bought at like a spot, a reasonable amount of money around spot. Some pretty tarnished ones there. Those are probably some of the first ones I had, all the way up to the MS 70 grade American Silver Eagles, which those are a premium for sure. But random silver. Those are silver American Eagles. Those are the premium holy grail that everybody goes after. You also get a premium when you sell them back. It's usually just $1 or $200 spot. The Bitcoin silver there, those are just regular silver rounds, 1 ounce rounds. These are probably my favorite bars right here. These are the Wall Street Bet ones. I bought a couple 10 ounce bars, and then there's the 100 ounce, 12 ounce. The American Silver Eagles and other rounds, you typically buy them in these 20 round containers, or you can get a monster box, which is 500 rounds. In 1979, silver drastically moved up from $6 an ounce to well over $49 an ounce. That was 1979, 1980. We saw in 2011, we saw it hit $50 again. I thought I missed the boat. I thought, man, I don't know if I'm ever going to see $50 again. I should have sold then. However, I didn't sell any. I've never sold my silver. Where I found myself today with silver trading at almost $80 an ounce, what do I do with it? Is that the question you're asking yourself? This time feels much more organic than what we saw back in 1979 with the Hunt brothers, or 2011 with some market manipulation. This time we're seeing real functional demand with EVs, with data centers, with solar panels. All those things are very prominent. We're also seeing a lot of stacking of silver and gold by countries, China being the biggest one. In fact, in January, China has signed into law that they can no longer export silver without explicit approval by the government. What is going to happen with that? The United States probably isn't far from doing that either. If they deem it a critical mineral, what will happen? And if it's critical and it's used in war, what if they implement the Defense Production Act, right? Where now I can no longer sell to the Samsungs, the Apples, and all these people and their gadgets. I can no longer sell for solar panels. I can only use it for war fighters and things like that, right? So we see already the price has creeped up to almost $80 an ounce just this weekend. And part of me is like, you don't really make the money or lose the money until you sell it. So should you sell it? Again, I've been collecting silver since I was probably 6 years old. I used to get ounces every year when I was little. The market was much different. I've gotten many people turned on to silver. I love silver. My favorite ones are those Wall Street Bets silver and the Bitcoin silver, because I think it's just kind of interesting how those communities can kind of interact and be. What I think is the worst investment right now for silver is owning paper silver. Again, this kind of goes back to crypto, not your keys, not your crypto. When you own paper silver, like an ETF like SLV, again, it's an ETF, but it's not the physical silver. I think it can be controlled and manipulated. When you actually own the physical silver, just like when you own your own crypto, nobody's really going to take that away from you. They're going to have to pay a premium for you for that. So what is your premium price? Are you thinking $100? I think it will go to 100. January 1st is going to be a very interesting time. We'll know right then and there. I hope it goes to 100. I hope it goes to 200. Actually, looking back at that 1979, 1980 run where silver went to $50 from $6 an ounce to $50 with inflation would be $200. So you're seeing a lot of people call $200. That would be amazing. I would love to see that. I probably would be completely sold out at that point. I called around to a couple local pawn shops today. I called around to a couple local silver dealers, and the best price I could find was for Eagles, American Eagles, $2 under. The worst I found was $4 under. When I looked at the regular bullion rounds or the 100 ounce bars or 10 ounce bars, they wanted to give me $8 on the spot, and one would give me $4 on the spot. I thought $4 was amazing, but they wanted all my silver, and I was like, I don't really want to get rid of all my silver today. But just the conversation with all these dealers, they're all selling out of silver. People are coming in and they're buying silver at these levels. I started worrying, is this tulip mania? Is this a Beanie Baby phase all over again? Are we running? Are we at the top? But I look at the charts and I really don't see it there. What I'm more focused on is, when do you sell? I'd love to hear your thoughts. I'd love to hear where you're coming from. If nothing else, if you own the ETF SLV, hey, good for you. I think it's a great investment, but it's not the same investment as owning the physical silver. I think ETFs, again, are a great way to go. I would definitely be paying attention to SLV because if I am owning that ETF, I'd want to be careful with it, especially whatever happens here as it gets political on top of the utility that silver already provides. What I'm personally doing is I'm watching the market every day. When we saw silver at $50 an ounce back in 2011, we saw the bottom fall out. And when the bottom fell out, it took about a month for it to really start rocketing down, but it crept down. Will it rocket back down this time? This time feels much more organic to me. I think there's a lot of things out there. We're seeing a lot more with our currency being devalued. That's truthfully what's happening, right? Silver is staying the course and our purchasing power is going down. We're $38.5 trillion in debt. That price isn't coming down anytime soon. So that makes me think silver has a bright future ahead of it. I look at the political unrest in the world and I think, there's a utility use for silver magnets and other things there. That gives silver a bright lining. The conversation with the local coin stores, that gave me hope that silver is going to run. Where do you think the top is? So just like stocks, we have to be careful here. Remember, we don't make money until we sell, and we don't lose money until we sell. So we got to be very mindful here. I'm going to watch this market every day. I'm going to pay very close attention. I'm going to see if this starts going down or breaks that moving day average. Right now, it's all up. Like, in fact, the God candle just happened today, right? So it's definitely on its way, which, again, back to Tulip Mania or Beanie Babies. Are we nearing that utopia, right? We're seeing people buy in at the all-time highs. If you call the silver dealers, they're telling you, we sold out of everything. Both stores I called just this afternoon, they sold out of everything by noon. That's crazy to me. What is your experience? What is it like at the dealerships you're going to? I think it could get really interesting after January. We're going to see what the COMEX does. We're going to see how this all plays out. Me personally, right now, I'm just kind of holding on. I'm not buying more. In fact, I have a hard time believing people are buying at these prices, but they are buying. The coin dealership confirmed that today for me, which means that's not solar panels, EVs, and war. That's people trying to hedge, which is exactly why I'm going to hold on to what I have for now. Let me know what you think down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Please like and subscribe. Again, I'm always trying to bring you some kind of different perspective on things. Got a couple new rental properties. Again, I think owning physical, tangible assets, and I put Bitcoin in that as well. Maybe just not today. I'm not owning much Bitcoin. I think it's going back down to the 70s, but we'll see how that plays out. Owning physical assets, that's the way to go. Owning your Bitcoin, your gold, your silver, your real estate. Owning those physical assets, that's how you actually truly hedge off against inflation. As always, like and subscribe, comment down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Thank you.